Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It's a pleasure to have you here. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you've got yourself your August merchandise, because today is the end of August, which means this is the last time to get it. So you best get on it. So the plan for today is as follows. I just had a new lens show up, and this is a pretty interesting lens. A lot of my lenses are rather wide, like this one, and it's very difficult to get in close with a lot of my lenses, and I want to get some really close shots, especially when we're working at the lathe. So, as you can see, this is a rather close lens. So as you can see, this lens is a very close-in lens. It gives some incredible, it gives a view that we just simply have never seen on this channel. And what I want to do is I want to take this lens and I want to be able to have a shot once I'm above the lathe that can come straight down and aim nice and tight and close on whatever it is that we're working on. And so we're going to take some of this box section, we are going to make ourselves a bracket to which we can mount this cheap slider above the lathe for some crazy beautiful shots. So my plan here is as follows. What I'm going to do is we're going to take these pieces of steel. I'm going to take this, which is a piece of 01 I happen to have. We're going to use this as a ruler. I'm going to get a little bit of an eyeball as to where it is that I want this to start. And we'll say right about here. And I'm going to draw a line with a white paint marker on both sides and on both pieces. So we'll be cutting along those lines in just a little bit, but the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to throw this in the Bridgeport mill. We're going to give that a tighten. It's good enough just to tighten it like that. And we're going to mill a slot the whole way down the middle, an 8mm wide slot, so that way the nut that goes and connects onto the sliders will be able to slip all the way up and down here, so that we can have motion on the y-axis of this kind of slider holding contraption, as well as along the x-axis, which is obtained by the slider itself. So I'm going to come across here, go across there, drop this down, mark her up, and do some milling. Right, we're in the middle. I'm going to lift this up, and we're going to do this. So now what I've done is I've put the other piece in the milling vise, which is fantastic, because now what we're going to do is we are going to remove this collet and this end mill, and we're going to put a drill bit in there so that we can have 2 or 3 holes in there, so that then we can take a nice heavy screw into the studding on my wall, so that we have a very tight attachment point for this thing. Time to put on my spacesuit. I was lucky. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these pieces of steel where we have marked it. We're going to take an angle grinder and we're going to cut down there. This is going to make it look really nice, and it's also going to be give me the access that I need to be able to quickly and easily screw and unscrew that slider from this thing. Since we're going to be TIG welding these pieces, I'm now going to take the opportunity to prep the weld area, clean the material that we're welding, and put a slight chamfer here. So these have now all been cut up and ground up, and I think that's a nice little addition that's going to really kind of pay off in the overall look of the piece, as well as the functionality, especially over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to clamp them to this piece of plate. I'm going to take a square, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and square before we tighten it all down properly. Give it a tighten, have another check. Tighten this one under here. Check again. And tighten it. There we go. Now what we're ready to do is we're ready to tack weld this up with the TIG weld. I'm going to tack weld these corners. I'm going to tack weld down there, and then we're going to let it cool down, flip it over, tack weld it again, make sure it's square, and then weld that puppy up with the TIG welder. That was one of my best ever TIG welds. I am really chuffed with that. So these are the little angle iron brackets that we're going to weld onto that thing. Just as a little extra side-to-side support. I got a 5.5mm drill bit in there. Just popping a couple holes in it. There we go. And now what we'll do is we'll take those out of there. We'll go back over to the TIG welder and we'll weld them on. These things are starting to look really nice. I am just so excited. Practicing things and slowly getting better is such a thrill. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I just wish it wasn't so difficult. Look at those. So you see those welds there? Just how bad they are. You know, it's even just on a project like this, you get better and better and better. You never end up very, very good, especially not at the beginning. But you end up a little better than when you started, which is the main thing. Plus, it's fun, which, as I often say, guys, is really a big motivation for doing it. Right, so here we go. This is the moment of truth. Hopefully, there is a stud there that I can screw into. Otherwise, it's a problem. I'm going to line that up. Oh, no. Come on. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Right, take two. We'll line that up. Right about where we want it. Hold that there, take the drill. Please tell me we got a stud, please, 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 please. Yes, we got a stud. Woo! I'm the stud, by the way. And 1, 2. Oh no, I ran out of battery. Ah! Whoa. Whoa. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. 12 minutes later, here we are. New battery in tow. Finish this one off. And screw number 3 goes in. And there we go. Photography equipment tends to either have a 1/4-inch thread or a 3/8 thread. I happen to have this tiny, tiny little 3/8 threaded thing. I don't have a 3/8 die, so we can't turn something up that's, you know, just one piece of steel with a 3/8 thread. And my lathe is a metric lathe, so I can't cut the threads on this, I don't believe. What we're going to do instead, so that I don't have to use my fingers on this tiny, tiny screw like this, I will never be able to get it tight enough. Tightening this just by hand, it's never going to have enough rigidity in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly turn something up that we can slot that over, then we can TIG weld it all together, and then we'll have a nice bigger handle that's going to allow us to much better crank down on that and get a solid grip. So here, obviously, is the little screw that we're going to be using to attach either, actually, it doesn't have to be the slider, it can also be just a simple kind of tripod head, whichever one, because they all use the 3/8 threads. What I now need to do is it has this, this little thing there, which is great for when you're using it by hand, but I'm just going to try and snip that off there. There we go, and now we have an actual diameter, and my plan is to drill a hole in there that's as close to this size as possible. That's a 14.97, so we'll call that a 15mm hole. And now would be a time that would be fantastic for that 15mm drill bit that I don't have to show up. Ooh, okay. I need to do some thinking. Okay, so here's what we're going to try. We're going to try and use a boring bar. Now, this wouldn't be able to make a 15mm hole. It's too large. But I'm thinking that if I have this at a certain angle, I might be able to at least get in there deep enough for this particular piece. It doesn't need to be very deep, so we're going to give it a go nonetheless. So we're going to start off with a 13mm drill bit, then we'll open it up from there. So I'm going to bring this boring bar in, and we're going to be coming in here and just opening it up ever so slightly. Hopefully this goes well. Almost. So it's not ideal, but I think it's better than nothing. What I'm going to do is I'm now just going to do a little chamfer. That'll give the weld something to sit in. So this is how it sits in there. It's a little proud, but we've got a nice chamfer there, which means that this should TIG weld up nicely. We're now going to take this out of there, and we're going to weld that in there. Then this will go back in the lathe. We'll face it off so it's flat on the bottom. Oh no, I just dropped it. Oh, where did it go? No, I found it. Okay, so we're going to weld it on there. Then we're going to put all of this back in the lathe. We'll face it off. Then we'll do some more turning here. That way we have a nice kind of flat thing for it to work with. So here's the piece that we've just turned up. I ended up trying my best to make a nice little pretty hand thing here. I should get some knurling equipment. That would be very handy. Anyway, this will screw in. That shank's a little long, so I've got two washers up there. And now is the moment of truth as we see if it works. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Yes! Look at that. Beautiful. So on all of my tripods and all of my mounts, I have the same quick release plates. That way, wherever I am in the workshop, I can slip the camera on the same thing. All my cameras have the same thing on the underneath. This is one of my favorite little small ball heads, and you see it doesn't have one of those quick release plates on it. So what I'll do is I'll unscrew this, and then we will screw in its place this little thing here. You see, however, it doesn't quite fit because of those little tabs, so we're going to file those down. So it seems like the major difference from this is just simply that this is a little wide here and also a little proud across the top. So what we'll do is we'll gently take this small little file and we'll keep working it down. Thankfully it's aluminium, so it's super easy to move around, well, shave off here with the file. Just the pushing strokes as I always do. Okay, beautiful. It fits. Now it's just time to screw it on. Okay, give it a good crank. Make sure it's nice and tight. The good thing about having those little slots in there is now this can't swivel, which is good, but we'll make sure that this is nice and tight. I could have put some Loctite in there, but I think it'll be fine. And now it's time to screw it onto the slider. Beautiful. And we'll see. Oh no, I didn't think that through. Well, that's a problem. That doesn't tilt all the way down. I might have to come up with a spacer for that. Okay, on to head number 2. Let's see if this works. Ooh, I think that'll do it. That gets all the reach we need. There we go. Hey, we've done it. We have our vertically mounted camera rack. This is brilliant. I can move in and out. I have so many positions that I can go to. This is super exciting. Check this out. So if I want to put a camera on, it's as easy as bada bing, bada boom. Easy as move it out, slide this to where it wants to be, tighten this up, position the camera. Woo, this is exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, what a blast it has been making that project. I've had a lot of fun doing that. I got to practice some more TIG welding. I got to actually put TIG welding on a project for the first time, I think, and that was exciting. I did lathe work, I learned a lot, I had a lot of fun, and most of all, it was fantastic bringing you along. Remember, guys, t-shirts. If you want your August t-shirts, today's the last day, because tomorrow is not August. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the next episode. We're going to have another great project starting, which is actually going to start today, because today is the tomorrow for you. Anyway, get yourself a t-shirt. Go watch 2 of my videos. Go hit subscribe if you're new. Drop a like, leave a comment, and I will see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. AlecSteelShop.com is the place to go. Have a great day.